Hello, I'm Darlene Walton and welcome to Lesson 6. Today we're going to learn several new things, so get ready to have some more fun learning to play the harp. The first thing we're going to talk about is overlapping brackets. So far we've been laying our fingers down and getting each bracket ready to play. But sometimes you need to have one bracket ready and then before it's finished have the next bracket starting to get ready also. That way you know where your fingers are and you don't have to look at your harp as much. So these are called overlapping brackets. Now, we're going to start with finger 2 and 1. Now, let me explain this. It's a little bit hard to understand, so I'll try to go over it as completely as possible. Okay, you have 2 and 1. While 1 is playing, then the next bracket is setting up. And then you just switch back and forth. Before you get finished with 1, the next bracket is setting up. And then before you get finished with that one, the next bracket is setting up. It's easier to show you than to tell you on the harp. So we're going to do 1 and 2. This just goes straight up the line. So you're only using 2 finger and your thumb. So you have 1, let's see, you're skipping a note. 1 is on E and 2 is on C. Okay? So you're going to go here. Before you play that E, the next bracket is setting up. Before you play this one, the next one is setting up. And so on. Then you don't have to look at your harp as much. Now you should be able to do that with your eyes closed. Let's try it. Could you do that with your eyes closed? It's fairly easy because you can actually feel where the string is. And that's why the overlapping brackets help you not have to look at the harp as much. We're going to try that with our left hand now, and it's the same thing. You're going to start on a C, and you're going to go up just like you did with your right hand. Same thing. Now let's try this one with our eyes closed, okay? Get your first placing. You can leave your eyes open for that one. And then close your eyes and see if you can go all the way up with your eyes closed. Okay, here we go. Ready, play. Very good. Moving on to the next page, you'll see there's another line of 2 fingers doing the overlapping brackets. And you can practice that on your own as you have printed out your pages. You can take as long as you need on that technique. We're going to move on to the 3 fingers with the overlapping brackets. This is basically the same thing, except before your thumb plays, your other 3rd finger is setting up for the next bracket. And you can do this without looking as well. So let's try this. We're going to start on C, get them all set up, nice straight wrist, good hand position, and we're going to try this overlapping bracket. You play your C, your D. Before you play your E, your other one is setting up on D. It keeps going up the line. There you have it. Now you can practice that with your eyes closed if you'd like. You should still be able to do it after you get used to the movement because your hands can feel where those strings are and your brain automatically knows whether you think it does or not. It does. Okay, now we're going to come down using the same technique, starting up here on the higher C. Before you play the 3rd one, your thumb is resetting now. but that's okay. You get the general idea. Now we're going to practice going up with our left hand. Same thing. I didn't put the brackets on it, but it's the same thing we were doing before with the overlapping brackets. So you start out like this and switch out. Find that this is harder for you to do with your left hand, especially if you're right-handed. Some people find that playing with their left hand is more difficult. Every once in a while someone finds that their right hand is more difficult to play with. But you just have to work more on your left hand technique. There isn't really any difference between left-handed harpist and right-handed harpist. They all have to play the harp the same way. So you just have to adapt with your left hand. And by the way, it would be really good if you could practice at least a half hour every day on these new techniques, and that will help you get more accustomed to them. It's even better if you can practice a half hour in the morning and a half hour in the evening. That's why these lessons are nice, because you can take your lesson anytime you want when you feel that you're ready, and you don't have to cram to get ready for an appointed lesson at any certain time. Now we're going to do the same thing with our left hand using all 4 fingers. Remember, before you play the F, you need to replace those fingers, and then before you play the C, replace them again. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. C, D, E, replace, replace, replace. Okay, good. Now we're going to do it coming down. It's the same basic thing, except you're just going to come down. We're just going to try it up here on middle C with your left hand. Okay? 1, 2, ready, play. Some exercises with both hands doing it together. They're going to be coming up in the same way and going back down. You're just going to come up, go back down, and then go back up. Okay, so we're going to start on a G, both hands doing exactly the same thing. Here we go, that last line. 1, 2, ready, play. Replace, replace, replace. Very good. There's another page here for you to practice, just overlapping brackets. I did not put the brackets on there because, again, sometimes you're going to see music that has the fingering but not the brackets. So see if you can figure out where you need to replace those and practice on this page. And there's some practice with both hands together also. Our first song for this lesson is All Through the Night. It's a very nice lullaby. It's in 4/4 time and it has overlapping brackets, so we get a chance to practice those. You'll notice your right hand starts out here, and I have all your brackets marked for you. Your left hand just has one note per measure, a nice whole note, so you'll be able to play that with just one finger on your left hand. Most people know the rhythm to this song. If you don't, I have marked the counting in there with the 1 and 2 ands so you can get those dotted notes in there correctly. Down here where the chorus starts, I have a repeat mark, which means we're going to repeat the chorus. So when we get to the end, we go back and find the forward repeat and repeat the chorus. Also, you'll notice there's no right hand for a couple of lines here. Your left hand's going to be playing the melody. This is something new. It's going to be playing the melody, and it's going to be playing up an octave. So instead of this G down, or this F down here, it's going to be playing the F up here. This is what we learned in our last lesson, all about 8VA. Remember your overlapping brackets too. This line is very similar to the first line, and I've added one note to the left hand so you have those twisty notes for this last line. So this is a nice little song to learn and play for somebody special. Our first song in this lesson is All Through the Night. It's a nice lullaby. It's in 4/4 time, and it employs those overlapping brackets that we just talked about. Let me run through the format of the song. The first line repeats. There's your repeat line, and there's no forward repeat, so that means you go back to the beginning. Repeat that line, then continue on. Your right hand only plays down here for this last line. It's more like the chorus. And then there's a DC al fine, which means you go back to the beginning and play that line again until you get to fine. So basically you have this line 3 times and this line once. Go over it, print off your papers and run through it a few times, get your fingering down, and then we'll play it together. Let's play All Through the Night together now. I'll give us a slow 4 count and then a 1, 2, ready, play. Remember to get your hands set up to start with. You have 3 and then it goes into a 4 bracket. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, ready, play. Repeat. First line again. Very good. Our next song is Lavender's Blue Dilly Dilly. And this is an old song, sort of a nursery rhyme, and it's just an example of placing without brackets, which means your fingering is there but not your brackets. It's not really something new, but we're using all 4 fingers on this one. They are going down in a row though, so it's a little bit easier on this song than some of the other ones you've done. So look it over and then we'll play it together. Now we're ready to play Lavender's Blue. Some of those notes on your left hand are ledger line notes, like the first one is a C and an E, in case you weren't able to figure those out. The rest of them you should know. And we're going to do this one slowly. I'll give us a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 1, 2, ready, play. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, ready, play. At the end of the song we just did, you might have noticed that when you were placing your 1, 2, 3, 4, these left-hand notes were in the way. So what you do simply is just let your thumb be ready to place that. Go ahead and play your notes and then lay the rest of them down. Now we're going to learn Amazing Grace, which is a grand old hymn that's a favorite of many, many, many people. Okay, this really doesn't have anything particularly new. It has a pickup note at the beginning. It's in 3/4 time, but I am giving you more notes to play with your left hand. There's some placing that your left hand does as well as your right hand. Nothing else particularly new. I don't think you'll find this song too difficult, so print it out, practice on it, and then we'll play it together. Now we're ready to play Amazing Grace together. It starts on the third count of 3, so I'm going to give you a 1, 2, 3, ready, play, slowly. Okay, it starts on 4 and 2, and number 2 on your left hand. 1, 2, 3, ready, play. Very good. That's all for Lesson 6. Thanks for being with me, and we'll see you again next time for Lesson 7.